In this video, we're going to tackle the concept of autofill, and it's very useful if you understand how it works. So I have a spreadsheet here with several things together. If you notice at the top, when I've clicked on a cell, there's a small little box. It's located right here at the right corner of the box. And that's called the autofill tool. And the way it works is, if you, so let me go down here. So I'll type a number 4 here. Okay, so now when I put the cursor on the autofill, the cursor changes its signature from a hand to a plus. And once it's a plus, then I can drag that and automatically fill the column downward with the value that was in the cell that I started. The same happens if I fill to the right or left. So if I come across here, I'll add 4s to these cells. I'm going to hit Command Z on a Mac and Control Z on a PC to get rid of that because I don't want those. If you select 2 cells together, you have a small range, and so you can start to drag the range, and it will notice a pattern here, and it will autofill based on the pattern. So if I went 1, 2, 3, it'll fill all the way up to whatever I like, 100. So now what I did there, I'm going to hit Control Z again or Command Z to redo. So what I did was I highlighted both cells by holding the cursor down or the mouse down, and then I find the autofill and I drag. Now on this too, if I find the autofill, if I do autofill to the right, I just simply repeat these numbers. Now let's take a look at how other places, how autofill works, and let's take a look at how autofill works in other ways. Days of the week work in autofill. Months work in autofill. There's one other caveat here to autofill. So if I have states and I have states. In cell H5, I have a formula. And the formula is equals G5. So cell H5 equals whatever value is in G5. So if I make this into Nebraska and I hit enter, the cell next to it changed to Nebraska. Now, if I use autofill, I'll turn this back to Alabama just for fun. Okay. So if I use autofill, you would think that this would make Alabama, 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 Alabama. But it doesn't do that. What it does is it increments, since this is a formula, it increments the formula row by row by row. So let me move this along here. So now what it did is it said, this is Alabama, and this is G5, this is G6, this is G7, this is G8. If this were not a formula, if this were just simply the word Alabama as a value, I got that typed wrong, don't I? Alabama. There we go. Here, let's try this. Okay. All right, so now there we go. If this is simply the word Alabama, now when I do autofill, it will repeat the Alabama, Alabama, Alabama. So that's how that works. So let's look over here at this case. I've got some batteries. I'm going camping. I got batteries, flashlight, a tent, rope, backpack, and of course you need your skateboard on it. Now I've got a 6% sales tax here, and then I have the total, which is the total of the item in K5 plus the sales tax of K5 times the sales tax. So if I take the autofill here and I move down this way, it will increment. So it changes the formula. So the formula here was K5 plus L5 plus K5 times K5. I keep saying that wrong. And this incremented 1, everything moved up to 6, this incremented up to 7, this incremented up to 8, etc. But what happened here was the formula got askew because the sales tax was here at 6%, but there is no sales tax here, so sales tax wasn't charged on these. And this is the caveat of this. So if you want a formula to hold its value and be consistent, so when somebody uses autofill, it doesn't increment, you have to add dollar signs in front of the letters. So for example, and let me do this a little bit differently here. I'll put down here a formula. So this, I'll put a number here of 100, and I'll say that this cell, this is K12, is going to equal J12. And so if I increment this with autofill, this will equal J12, J13, J14. But if I made this equal to $J, $12, it's going to point to this value, but when you use autofill, it's actually going to autofill based on this value. It's not going to increment at all. Now watch this. So this will be all 100s. And so the trick is, if you want something to be stationary, you have to put a dollar sign for the column and a dollar sign for the row, and then that would lock. Now to do that in my formula over here, since the sales tax is L5, my new formula would then have to be K5 times $L$5 times K5. Now when I increment this automatically, sales tax is charged, but it's charged at the sales tax rate. Okay, and I don't have to add these values here. So this is called autofill.